Norway 4, Iraq 1. I just want to say, Heia Norge! That's one. Number two, this video came out a little bit later than I was anticipating. The reason for that is the game was 12 midnight over here and it ended at 2 o'clock. And I was actually watching it at our national football stadium, the football stadium that our national team plays at. And we were doing a watch along and it was sensational. I think most of the seats were sold out. It was a great vibe. It's unbelievable. And then after that, I watched the Argentina Algeria game. Unfortunately, Algeria didn't really do much. I also want to speak a little bit about it later on. But what I really want to speak about first is Norway, because Norway is my team and it is the country that my countrymen are representing, and I'm very proud of them. And I really want to speak about it. It was a 4-1 game. However, there were a lot of issues there. A lot of things that I didn't really want to see. And there were a lot of things that when I was watching the game, I was just frustrated. I was even frustrated more so that we won 4-1 and that, the headlines would change drastically and dramatically compared to how we actually played. I've read some news articles and they're already speaking about how great of a team we were, how unbelievable we were. But honestly, I did not see any of that. And I really want to retract a little bit the statement that I said as something about, Norway is not even a dark horse no more. It is a powerhouse and it is going to be a powerhouse. I really want to retract that statement because I was really wrong about Norway. You know what they say, tinted glasses. I was wearing some tinted glasses and I was very biased for my country, man. But Iraq, of course, they came out. They did actually play sensational, and I was very proud of them. And I'm still very proud of how they turned up. The fans were unbelievable. It was actually great. There was like one little table of Iraqis that celebrated like passionately when they scored, and it was very much cute and wholesome to see that as well. But I really want to speak about how defensively we are very shocking. And I don't really get how we are so defensively shocking. And one thing that I did say even last night and I tweeted about is I just can't understand how our tall players, and I think the average height of our squad is like 6'2", 6'3", and we are having giants in our club, and somehow, somewhere, we're still struggling against sure individuals. And sure, I think there were a lot of issues with, players not tracking back, players not following their man. Even the goal that they scored, one of our players were not following the guy that crossed the ball into the striker, who also inevitably also scored an own goal. Which, it goes to show that the game is very unpredictable. But I just I don't know. I think tactically we were just so poor, and it has a lot to do with the manager, because even when we were trying to create chances, I wasn't really seeing too much. I wasn't really seeing a lot of build up play. It was very much like Nusa, go to the wing and then cross it. And I don't like that. It's a very, very Norwegian football, and this is how we have been raised. And even when I used to play, back in the day when I was younger and I used to play for a football club, that's literally what we did. It was very much just go down the byline and then cross it and then try and score with a header or something along those lines. But I think what I was really missing was a lot of the ball being on the floor and being down and actually playing and passing around and actually creating chances, because I felt like there were too little chances created. Two of the goals that we scored was a blunder. Another one was a set piece. So realistically, we had one goal, and that one goal, how did it come? From a cross. And that's what I'm saying. I think tactically, Norway was just so bad, and I think Didier Deschamps, for instance, or even I don't know who the new Senegal manager is. Cisse was the last one, but I don't know. I don't remember the latest one. But even with him, both of them are going to be outclassing and outmanaging Solbakken if this continues. And even if we were very, very, very lucky that Iraq was the first team game that we had, because if we met either Senegal or France first, and we lost, I think that the morale of the team would have just horrible. Right now, of course, we're leading the group, but I am pretty sure that Senegal and France will probably win against Iraq, so we have to just get a draw against either of those teams, preferably against France, and then we are above Senegal, and then do something against Senegal. But I don't know, man. I think it's very unfortunately Senegal and France. It wasn't a draw. I really was wishing for a draw because if we did win against Iraq and then we just got a draw from one of those two clubs or countries, then we would have just been through. So I don't know. I'm not really happy with what I'm seeing. I think one of my friends actually did speak about how Solbakken is not the manager that Norway should be having if they really want to succeed. And he was actually pitching. And by the way, this guy doesn't really like the manager or the man I'm about to say. He doesn't really like him. He's an Arsenal fan, and he really doesn't. He has respect for him, but he doesn't really, rate him as a manager. But he said the best manager for this club or this country team would have been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He really said Solskjaer would have been the better manager for this type of team, and he's very like the type of manager that builds confidence. And sure, tactically, it's not that grandiose, but at least you'll see some link up play. At least you'll see something on the pitch. But with Solbakken, I don't know. I wasn't really convinced. And of course, we have been absolutely amazing in the qualifiers. And there's a reason I put out the video that I put out because really thought our team was just so great and so good. But just looking yesterday and watching the team, and sure, a lot of Norwegians were very happy on the pitch, and people were throwing beers in the sky and stuff. And of course, it's a great result, 4-1. I mean, I personally also said that we need a statement win. We need 3 or 4 goals minimum. I said this before the game started that we need to just come out and show them who we are. But honestly, even though we did get the result I wanted, we didn't get the performance I also wanted. So to that I say, I will definitely be looking at this team with a side eye. Of course, I'll be supporting this country and this club. I love this team. These are my countrymen, and I even played with some of those players when I was younger. Some of those players I have actually played against. So it just definitely means something more to me. But seeing just the performance that I saw yesterday, I was just not happy and I was very disappointed. But of course, I'm very pessimistic about football when it comes to these kind of stuff because I'm a very football nerd, and I look at tactics and I look at the development of a game and how we are actually getting our goals. And that's why sometimes I might sound a little bit harsher than how it maybe might be. I don't know. But honestly, when I was just looking at this, with just face value, I'm looking at no scoreline added, and you're just watching the game. There's two teams that kind of look like they're on the same side or like the same level. That's how it looked. It looked like Norway and Iraq were on the same level. I'm not really trying to discredit Iraq. I think I'm going to be giving a lot of praise to Iraq after I speak about Norway. But Norway is the important part here, and I'm expecting more from Norway, right? Because they have more star proven players, or quality proven players, right? So I was expecting more from that team. But if you're looking at how they were playing just on the pitch, you're looking at teams and you just remove the colors of the of their kits, and you will just see that this is two teams that look like they are identical to each other. So honestly, I'm just disappointed. That's the right term. I was just disappointed seeing that we went to the levels that I was expecting. 4-1, sure, but we was not that good. And now I want to really give my praises to Iraq. I think they were just sensational. That winger they had, I don't remember his name, but that winger they had was just so good. Maybe I should find him because these players really deserve a credit. And I think there's been a lot of stigma and a lot of backlash about how there's too many football teams that are from like other countries that are doing something and they're not really that good. But um, uh, Jasmine Elabi Ali Jassim. Honestly, guys, I think he was just so good. That guy was just so good. Even Ibrahim Bayesh was a sensational player. Like those two on the wing were actually doing bits and they were doing their thing. But especially Ilaibi Ali Jassim. I think he was arguably one of their better players, if not the best player on the pitch for them. I think he was just so great. But there's too much. No, there's not too much to say. I mean, Iraq, they did. Every team that is in the World Cup right now deserves it. Even Curacao that lost 7-1. Every team that is in the World Cups right now, they are honestly they deserve it. I think they're just the World Cup has actually been a very very enjoyable time for me. I've watched every single game, and I'm honestly about to do a great what do you call it? I'm here to do a great like rundown after all the group stage games are done. And when the group stage games are done, I want to really speak about the World Cup because I've watched every single game so far, and I have my opinions about the World Cup, and there are some things I really want to say about the World Cup, and there's some things that I'm looking at, and some big teams are not really performing the way they should be doing. But yeah, overall, Norway do better. That's all I have to say. Do better. Moving on. After that, I watched the game against Algeria versus Argentina. Messi is the GOAT. I'm a Ronaldo fan, but Messi is the GOAT. How is he 39 and he's still performing the way he does? I don't know. This guy is still great. So good. I even turned off the game after 2-0 because I was like, you know what? I can't be bothered. This is getting too late. It was 4 o'clock. I was just like, you know what, man? Messi, 2 goals already. And I think they were on the attack again, and Messi was about to score, and I just turned it off. As a Ronaldo fan, I turned it off, bro. I couldn't watch it. But honestly, guys, as even if you're a Messi fan or Ronaldo fan, I have always appreciated both of them. In my younger days, in the beginning, I was a Ronaldo fan, like a hardcore Ronaldo fan. When he was in United, I was a hardcore United fan, not a Ronaldo fan. And then after that, when Ronaldo went over to Madrid, and the Barcelona team lost, or United team lost to Barcelona, and Messi is just doing amazing. He became my new favorite. But first, it was always Ronaldinho, and then Ronaldo were like one and two. And then there was a little moment there where Rubinho was my number three. And then after that, Messi just shot up. He became my number one. He became my number one. I thought he would just go. He was just the greatest player of all time. I did not care. And then a year later or 2 years later, Ronaldo, comes back to me. I start watching more Real Madrid games, and I'm like, you know what? I will stick with Ronaldo. But even with that, all of that, I think even with you just have to appreciate greatness when you see it. And unfortunately, Ronaldo and Messi are not going to be here for a long time. They're not going to be here forever, and they're at the end of their career now. And I'm just going to be appreciating and just watching both of them from the lens of like I'm in awe more so than I need this guy to perform and I need to see Messi lose. I'm not seeing it. I'm not gonna do any of that. I really need my team to perform and I really need them to do well. But shout out to them. Shout out to Messi. Today is Ronaldo's day. Hopefully he does something against Congo. I highly doubt it. You never know. And I also want to say that Senegal versus France, even though the score became 3-1, I think Senegal was the better team for most of the game. And then it just happened that Olise was on France's team and they just they were the better team, unfortunately. Oh, they won. That was it. Olise, as a Bayern fan, I've been speaking a lot about him. I said that he's arguably the best right winger in the world right now after Lamine Yamal. No one to compare with him. He has a price that is he can't change. You can't buy out Olise. At Bayern, you can't buy him out. His price tag is, I can't give you a price tag. There's no price tag there. He's not for sale. And when my friend said that, oh, Olise might go to Real Madrid, I said, no way. You know, there's a high possibility of you getting someone pregnant this year than Olise leaving. I was confident. I didn't even make a video about Olise leaving or not leaving because I didn't need to. I knew that he was going to stay. But I'm looking at the clock and I have other stuff to do. So I will do a World Cup, summary or something along those lines when, the group stage game, the first games end. I just wanted this video was more so about my team Norway. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you lot in the next one, and comment down below what you guys think about Norway. And some of you guys that commented on the previous video, you know what, man? I appreciate you guys' comments, and I appreciate you what you guys were saying. And you know what, you guys, I am sorry. You guys were right. See you all in the next one.